Hey there, welcome. On this week's episode, we talk some soccer, UNLV intramural sports, and of course, highlight this week's Player of the Week. It's all sports all the time, and it starts right now. It's Game On. Welcome to Game On. I'm Austin Nene.
And I'm Marcus Paff. Here at UNLV, the men's soccer team is getting ready for next year's season. And what better way to start than by playing against the reserves for the Colorado Rapids, a Major League Soccer team? Reporter Bianca Valdez has the story.
On Valentine's Day, the UNLV men's soccer team played Major League Soccer's Colorado Rapids reserve team. David Lindholm, the public relations specialist for the Rapids, told us about the competition UNLV offers.
We call them reserve squads. They're generally the guys that don't play as much in those regular season games. So it's all one group. Some play in reserve games, some play in the first team game. UNLV players are talented and play really hard against a professional team, which gives our guys a high level of competition.
UNLV player Ryan Harding, who was injured, told me about the team's feelings before the game.
Everybody's really excited. It's like I said, it's a great opportunity for each one of us. Obviously, they're going to be bigger, stronger, and faster. They're older than us, and we all want to be there. And we get to show a professional team what each of us have, and then we also get to show the other schools in our conference that we can compete and win a conference championship.
UNLV ended up losing the game 4-0, but coach Richard Ryerson said this game is not about the score.
Disappointed in the result, but I think overall it's a great gauge for us to see where we are today. I think due to fatigue and not being prepared, we gave up two early goals at the beginning of the second half, so that was disappointing, but fatigue is something we can fix.
Coach Ryerson spoke about the exposure this offers his players.
Playing professional players, so it's an opportunity for them to play against the best that we have in the country, and it's great exposure for them. If one of my players has a fantastic game, he could be writing a ticket for the future for himself. So it's a great opportunity for our guys.
For Game On, this is Bianca Valdez.
Well, if you're a collegiate soccer team, it doesn't get much better than that. The Rebels getting a taste of what it takes to play professionally in this country. Sticking with pro sports, the Las Vegas Wranglers hockey team is set to begin its final leg of the season. Here now with Austin to tell us more about the squad is the voice of the Wranglers, Ian Tasso. Guys?
Hey, thanks, Marcus. Joined in the studio today by play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Wranglers, Ian Tasso. Ian, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Let's talk a little bit about the hierarchy. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. The ECHL with the Las Vegas Wranglers. How does that work with the NHL, the CHL, the AHL? Where does it fit in?
We're technically the first level of professional hockey. So, for instance, you're a Colorado Eagle fan. You're from Colorado. They were in the CHL a couple years ago. That's not directly affiliated, really. It starts with us, the ECHL, and then above us is the American Hockey League, and then above them is the NHL. So we've got a lot of players floating around up and down. We actually just lost a guy who signed with the American Hockey League team. So it's always fluctuating. So
let's talk a little bit about the NHL lockout. A lot of players actually came right from the NHL to the ECHL while the lockout was going on?
Yeah, and didn't work out too well for us because we're one of the teams that's actually unaffiliated. We don't directly feed to an NHL team. Some teams do, and they were rewarded with some NHL players that were looking for something to do. Us, on the other hand, we're independent, so we sort of lost out on that. But it's working out better now. Lockout's over. All those guys are gone. Some teams are scrambling for players, and we're hitting our stride now, and we're looking good as we finish off the season.
For you, when you broadcast, how is the speed different? NHL, ECHL, or is it about the same?
I'm not going to lie. When I first got the job a year ago, I sat myself down, got ready to pretend to do an NHL game in front of the TV, and I panicked. I was like, I cannot do this. But the ECHL, thankfully, is a little bit slower. Not much slower, but a little bit slower, and that helps. The NHL is a little faster. The players are a little bigger. Obviously, it's becoming a 6-foot league. If you're not 6 feet, you don't really stand a chance. So it's a little bit faster, but not much of a difference from us.
And now we were talking also beforehand, some midnight games that you guys had going on. Explain to me what you get to do for the midnight games, having to come into work at 9 p.m.
Yeah, besides drinking 5-hour energies in the the car ride there. No, it's a lot of fun. It's only in Vegas, right? You know, we do it something for the industry, the people who work late and don't necessarily get to come to our Friday, Saturday games because those aren't days off for them like it is for most people. So it's a lot of fun. We just had one in February. It was kind of a circus atmosphere. So the intermissions are people from Ka and people from O, and they perform, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool atmosphere.
Let's talk about tomorrow. St. Baldrick's game coming up for charity, pediatric cancer. What's going on with that, and how can we get involved?
It's actually a lot of fun. It's a cause we've been a part of for some years now, and last year I actually shaved my head. I was part of the group of guys that we shave our heads for pediatric cancer, raise money. If you want to get involved, go to stbaldricks.org. And you can search for the Las Vegas Wranglers. There's a whole bunch of us on the team. We raise money. And then after the game on the 3rd tomorrow, it's a 2 o'clock game, day game. Afterwards, we're all going to be getting our heads shaved on the ice. So it's a cool kind of atmosphere. And everyone's welcome to stick around. We open up the ice. It's like a public skate. So it's a whole lot of fun. And I'll be bald. So there's also that.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And the website one more time for us?
It's stbaldricks.org. And you search for
stbaldricks.org.
the Las Vegas Wranglers. And you can pick any one of us. Pick me.
Pick Ian. Ian wants to have it happen for him. You guys are actually down on the rink. You guys shave the heads afterwards.
Yeah, every Sunday day game. We have a couple of them during the year. It's a 2 o'clock start. Afterwards, we open the ice. It's a public skate, and the team comes back out, signs autographs. So for this particular one, we'll actually be getting our heads shaved right after the game on the ice. People take pictures. I emceed it last year too, as they were shaving my head. It's a whole lot of fun.
Well,
so.
Ian, thanks so much for being in the studio.
Thank you, man. Anytime.
Here at UNLV, many students love to participate in sports, but might not be up to the challenge of Division I sports. Reporter Justin Fuller has more on how you can still continue to play right here on campus.
UNLV intramurals provide students, faculty, and staff the opportunity to participate in organized and competitive activities every semester.
Dodgeball, floor hockey, basketball, oozball,
flag football and soccer,
ultimate frisbee,
softball,
racquetball.
Students and staff enjoy the benefits from playing in intramurals.
relax a little bit from school and work.
I'm able to get some exercise. I get to meet a lot of new people, have some fun.
Let loose your competitive juices, and for me it's kind of like a necessity because I just need to be out there and play some games, and this is what gives me that.
You can get your friends together and come play.
It's all about the team camaraderie, getting your fraternity into it.
Fraternities and sororities also get involved with intramurals as they compete against one another for the prestigious Rebel Cup.
It definitely adds that extra edge because you know you're competing for pride against another organization. And it feels pretty good, to be on top.
High rivalries all the time. Everyone's always down to win.
Winning teams from flag football and basketball are given an opportunity to participate in regional and national tournaments with the help from the program.
Most of the time they will compete with other schools from Idaho, Oregon, Washington, California, Arizona, Nevada, obviously, and then sometimes we'll get a school like from Alaska or Hawaii. So we try to provide money for them to travel, and we pay their registration fee.
Whether it's to participate or support, the Intramurals program encourages the UNLV community to get out and join a sport. For Game On, this is Justin Fuller.
And Marcus, obviously a lot of cool sports that UNLV offers, soccer, floor hockey, softball, a lot of cool things you can get involved with.
Yeah, Austin, there's really something for everyone here on campus, and I've had the privilege of spending a decent amount of time in that rec center. You see everything under the sun, and just about everybody in there looks like they're having a great time.
Yeah, definitely. Time now for a quick break, but when we get back, we'll discuss March Madness and more. Stay with us.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
What you doing, Dad?
My favorite thing.
Really, Dad? What are you doing?
Paying bills. Every month a stack of them come, just as regular as the rain.
What's this one?
That's a special one, son. I pay it first.
How come?
It's money for my retirement account. I put some money aside each month just like I was paying a bill.
Wouldn't you rather buy something?
I don't want to work forever, and I don't want you to have to support me in my old age. In a way, I'm buying peace of mind. I'm on the installment plan.
Something's not right.
My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
Double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
We had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
Taking a look at the sights and sounds of the 2013 Color Run, which took place in downtown Las Vegas on February 16th. Participants ran a 5K, that's 3.3 miles to the finish line. So many people signed up for this year's run that organizers had to stop accepting registration. Proceeds from the Color Run went to 3 Square Food Bank. The race started at Bridger and Las Vegas Boulevard and ended on Fremont Street. Some runners threw packets of colored powder at each other during the race. When participants finished, they were greeted to a village of sporting vendors with water and energy bars. But the big finale was a bomb of color. The Color Run tours internationally and will be back in Las Vegas at the beginning of next year. And with that, we welcome you back here to the studios of Game On. Marcus, talking a little bit about March Madness. What are you looking at? What teams are you looking at coming into the tournament?
Well, it should be a fun year because there's not really a favorite as there has been in years past. A couple of conferences in particular that really stand out. I'd say the Mountain West and our UNLV Running Rebels are right there with just about every conference in the country. The Big Ten, however, is really the conference that stands alone this season. And it may be a historic year, easy for me to say.
Yeah, I just got it out there.
Amongst conferences in general. As you look at a number of teams, they may legitimately get 7 teams into the tournament this year. When you talk about teams like Michigan, Indiana, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, just top to bottom, very good competition in that league this year. And again, we could bring it right back to the Mountain West and say the same thing here when you got Colorado State, UNLV, San Diego State, New Mexico, a lot of the big dogs, and then teams that are really have upped their game this season. So it's really anyone's game. You could look around the country and maybe draw out of a hat at this point.
We talked about the Big Ten. Now let's talk about the Mountain West, with how difficult it is to win on the road in the Mountain West.
Yeah, and we've seen that with UNLV this year. And, no matter where you go in collegiate basketball, it's tough to win on the road. And I think oftentimes we hear that over and over again, so it becomes cliche, but it's the truth. That's why people keep saying it, is because it is true. The visiting fans, the visiting arenas are hostile, and it's tough to go in there and really play with that same type of intensity and maybe not even try to calm your nerves early. That can be difficult when those arenas are as rocking as they are. And the team that goes on the road and is able to win maybe half of their games and continue to win at home, that's the team that's probably going to be standing tallest at the end of the season, so to speak.
If we bring it full circle to the Running Rebels here at UNLV, what has been their downfall on the road? Is there one thing that you can point to say they could have done this better to get some more victories out on the road?
Well, I think energy probably number one, and it's tough to fault them because, like we said, with any team in this conference going on the road, you've seen San Diego State go on the road this year and lose. We've seen New Mexico go on the road and lose this year, and teams like Air Force and Boise State, teams that nationally aren't perceived to be top-tier basketball programs year in and year out, are really pretty darn good teams, and they're very well coached. We saw Air Force almost come into the Thomas and Mack and upset UNLV at home. And quite honestly, as a fan, a basketball fan, that's fun to watch because they are so well coached. Their positioning is impeccable. And you could say the same type of thing for a team like Boise State. Even Fresno State, who has a couple of wins under their belt, is somebody who can jump up and bite you. So for UNLV, it's going to be important to keep that energy up and finish strong. And you just never know down the stretch what could happen if they're able to do that.
How about some sleeper teams in the tournament? Teams like Miami, Florida, they've come out of nowhere really this year and have stationed themselves at the top of the pack.
Yeah, you took the team right out of my mouth. Miami of Florida is probably the team that everybody's sleeping on, which is, it's strange to say because they've shot up to the into the top 25, actually at number 2 in one of the polls right now. So you wouldn't think that would be a sleeper team, but I think a lot of folks still not taking that team very seriously. This is the team that blew out Duke, Austin. They destroyed Duke, and Duke is a very good team.
Indeed.
The reputation of Duke speaks for itself. So for a team like Miami of Florida to be able to do that in a year where Duke has been top 5 all year.
Right.
That says a lot for that team. And if anybody takes them lightly in the tournament, they're asking for trouble because Miami could go a long way.
Perfect, Marcus. Thank you. Well, time now for another break. But when we get back, Marcus sits down with UNLV TV reporter Carl Winder. Stay tuned.
You could choose to join a gang. You could try the latest drugs. You could even choose to drop out of school. You can try to avoid the difficulties in life with a quick fix, or you can face them head on. She did. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back from the break. Well, last week I got to dance with the Rebel Girls here in studio, but this week reporter Bianca Valdez was taught how to play some tennis. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, I'm Bianca Valdez and I'm here for Game On. We're here at the UNLV tennis courts with former tennis player Alex Bull, and he's going to show me some of the basics today.
Well, first, Bianca, we need to learn how to hold the racket. So first of all, place our racket on the floor.
Okay.
As we do this, we put our hand at the bottom of the racket.
Okay.
And there's our forehand grip.
So I got a forehand grip.
We're ready to play. Brush and round the shoulder. If I was to drop the ball, over there. Always keep that hand up. There's a ball here.
Yes.
You go over the ball. We have a hand at the bottom. See how the strings are facing this way?
So
The ball's going over there because you're hitting it there. Bang. Okay?
From the outside looking in, tennis may seem like an easy game to play, but I did have a hard time aiming the ball. I did even hit Alex a couple of times.
Oof.
Another difficult part of tennis is deciding which grip to use. I did have difficulty deciding to use the forehand or backhand grip.
Right, we got the back end now. So let me just hold the racket. Put your right hand at the bottom, and now your other hand just on top.
Okay, 2 hands?
2 hands.
All right, what am I doing wrong on that one?
So with the back end, we always want to start low to high.
Okay.
So down there, nice there, and round the shoulder. So we do that one more time. So we start low, low to high. One round the shoulder. See the perfect one. That was good. That one was good.
Alex and I are going to keep practicing. For Game On, this is Bianca Valdez. All right, I'm ready. Oh.
Well, it looks like Bianca has a bright future in tennis ahead of her. Now let's send it over to Marcus, who is sitting down with UNLV TV reporter Carl Winder. Marcus?
Thanks, Austin. Hey, joined now in studio by UNLV TV reporter Carl Winder. Carl, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Marcus, for having me right now.
Carl, let's start off with this. UNLV TV, it's kind of a new phenomenon here on campus, and it's giving students a lot of unique opportunities that they might not otherwise have. A lot of students around the country don't have right now. Tell me a little bit about UNLV TV and what you as journalism students are trying to do here.
Well, UNLV TV is quite amazing. Like you said, it's something that not many people have around the nation. I mean, we actually get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff of how to set up everything. We actually deal with professional cameras, and there's times where we actually get to become the talent, and the talent's actually one of the hardest parts. I mean, we have to sit down. I mean, we have to do our research beforehand. We have to know the sport. We have to actually put some input into it in sports that we probably would never cover ever in life, like women's basketball, soccer, volleyball. It's just new stuff to know. Great experience.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit more, I guess, about your role in particular. You mentioned a couple of different roles that folks that work with UNLV TV may have. Are you in one specific role, or do you kind of have a broad base of different things you like to do?
I'm going to be quite honest. My role there is jack of all trades, just like everybody on the set. I mean, sometimes we're commentating, sometimes we're behind the camera, sometimes we're directing. It's just Kim Alexander's doing really great with us, just expanding our view on everything that deals with sport production.
And how do you think this experience will prepare you for the next level when you get out of school and you're ready to go get that first job?
Well, like we said before, since this is unique and we have unique opportunities around this, we can just go out into the job market and say, hey, we know how to run a camera, we know how to follow players, we know how to commentate, we know something about this sport. So it just provides real-world experience, which is great.
Absolutely, Carl. Well, hey, we're out of time, but I appreciate you coming by the studio. I know it goes quick, man.
Really quick.
Once again, thanks to UNLV TV reporter Carl Winder for being here with us today. Coming up next on Game On, we go around UNLV athletics for a look at what's coming up and reveal our newest player of the week. Stay tuned.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults 15 to 29. And one person dies from melanoma every hour. It's time. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
My daughter, married and happy.
I want to see things the way I used to.
Chances are, someone you love may one day be affected by macular degeneration or glaucoma. Log on to seeabettertomorrow.org or call 1-800-437-2423 to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration. Call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
Welcome back to Game On. Austin, it's no secret that the Runnin' Rebels are a big part of Las Vegas, and our latest player of the week is a huge part of the Runnin' Rebels. Reporter Honey Love has more on freshman phenom and Findlay Prep product Anthony Bennett.
UNLV freshman forward Anthony Bennett leads the Rebels in scoring and is 7th in the Mountain West Conference, averaging 18 points per game. He is also 5th in rebounding at 8.7 rebounds per game. Named High School All-American as well as Mountain West preseason Freshman of the Year, Bennett, originally hailing from Brampton, Ontario, is a 2012 graduate of Findlay College Prep in Henderson, Nevada. Standing at 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighing 240 pounds, his muscle, speed, and skills were needed to beat San Diego State University 72-70. Bennett finished the game with a double-double, scoring 21 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, and made 4 out of 5 shots from the three-point range. Anthony Bennett, you are Game On's Player of the Week.
Now it's that time in the show where we take a look at what's upcoming in the world of UNLV athletics. We start on the hardwood where the Runnin' Rebels will have a pair of games to finish off the regular season schedule, a home matchup with both Boise State on March 5th and Fresno State on March 9th. Women's basketball will finish up their regular season with a pair of games on the road. A March 6th battle against Boise State up in Idaho. After that, they will have a chance to split the season with Fresno State on March 9th when they battle the Bulldogs up in Fresno. Then the Mountain West Conference tournament for both men and women's basketball takes place March 12th through the 16th at the Thomas & Mack. On the diamond, UNLV baseball will host a pair of games against the University of Hawaii, part of the Rebel Classic on March 3rd and 4th before heading to Northern California to play the University of Stanford out of the Pac-12 in Palo Alto. March 8th through the 10th, they will then head to Bakersfield for a game against Cal State Bakersfield on March 12th before heading home to host the Mountain West foe, New Mexico, for a weekend set the 15th through the 17th. The softball team finish up their Eller Media Stadium Classic on March 3rd against New Mexico State, then head to Long Beach, California to play in the Long Beach State Invitational March 8th through the 10th against schools such as Cal State Northridge and New Mexico State. The following weekend, they are down in San Diego for the San Diego Classic to March 5th through the 17th. Men's tennis will be finishing up the Pacific Coast Doubles Championships in La Jolla, California on March 3rd. Following that, they will host Ball State on March 7th, Air Force on March 8th, and UC Irvine on March 9th. Women's tennis hosts a pair of matches on March 8th against Utah State and UC Riverside. On March 12th, they host Washington State, and March 13th host Florida State out of the ACC. On the links, the men's golf team will participate in the Southern Highlands Collegiate Masters Tournament out at Southern Highlands Golf Club the weekend of March 8th through the 10th. Time now for a quick break, but when we come back, our final thoughts and a look forward to next week's show. That's still coming here on Game On. Stay tuned.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Winston, just one more inning, Grandma.
Ever notice how many things today kids can do without actually moving? A whole lot of things their parents used to do the hard way. So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part, which makes exercise even more important for children. In fact, new research tells us the best time to enhance bone development is during childhood and adolescence. And just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Healthy bones come from healthy habits. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Welcome back, guys. Well, Marcus, I think we need to go take a trip to do a color run sometime soon also.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of fun, Austin. I mean, there's a number of things around this valley that I think we need to look into. A couple of weekends down the road might be something that we want to check out.
Definitely. You know? Well, that does it for this week's episode of Game On. I'm Austin Enney.
And I'm Marcus Paff, saying thanks to Ian Tasso and Carl Winder for joining us today. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one, Las Vegas.